Hi, Dr. Patrick Gentempo here, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. We have great content in store for you. I'm so excited to be here with you, and let's jump right into it. Marcus, thanks for taking the time to sit and have this conversation. I know you're a bit jet lagged. Where are you coming back from?
Well, I'm actually just coming back from Greece, where all the fires were. But for some reason, I'm just really sleepy. I don't know why. Like I literally had to wake up to get here.
I know it's the end of the day where you are. It's the morning for me, and it's the end of the day where you are. So maybe you had an exciting day. Who knows? But let's start with your background. What got you into doing what you're doing?
Basically, I was in a pretty well-paid job, but I hated it because my boss left and a new boss came along, and he was a total and utter beep. And everybody left apart from me because I'm one of those faithful kind of stay there types. But I got really ill because of the pressure, because I didn't really want to be there. Long story short, I left not really knowing what I wanted to do, because I went on this seminar. And it's probably everybody's story because it's a Tony Robbins seminar back in '99. And the guy on stage in 3.5 days kind of says, you're in control of your own life and you can do what you want. And I was like, really? And it seems so obvious now. And I don't know why it takes other people to tell you what you innately already know. But anyway, so then he always says, when you make a decision, make a massive step towards it. So I left a message for my boss saying I had to speak to him the next day. But then as soon as I left the message, I was like, oh no, what have I done? And you try and recall the message. Like on Outlook, you can do that, right? Back in '99, you couldn't do stuff like that. This was a payphone. I mean, we're going back some. And then the next day, my boss kind of said, oh, Marcus, I got your message. You wanted to talk. And I was like, nope, that wasn't me. And he said, no, I got your message. So anyway, so I went in, and long story short, I fired my boss, and it was the best thing I ever did. But that's not to say that it all has been like this. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, because then I didn't know what I was going to do. And around that time, I started learning how to invest and trade. I'm very much self-taught, although I have been to every single course out there. Some of them were really okay, some of them were really good, some of them not so good. And it took me years and years just to stop losing money. Because everybody kept talking about strategy number 41, strategy number 43, but they didn't tell you about the most important thing, which is risk management. In other words, how not to lose money. And that's what we're really big on, is first of all, keep your money safe, because when you keep your money safe, then the profits will come. But if you lose all your money, then you're out of the game.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into this. And then about 5-6 years later, I started teaching friends and family. And then, that's how it built. And then my wife kind of said, what are you doing? Why are these people keep coming around at a weekend? And she said, get out. And if you're going to do this, then, hire a place. And I didn't want to start a business. I just didn't want to use the money that I had in my trading account. Right. And so we started teaching people. So that's how I got into this, the kind of the workshop-y, teaching people how to trade and invest. So our background very much has been really investing and then trading stocks. And I think it was around 2016 when people kept, asking me, oh, what about these digital currencies? And I was like, what are you talking about? What I'm teaching you, this is what works, What about Bitcoin? Like, Bitcoin, come on, you can't even touch it, And then somebody said to me, they said, that's great, Mr. De Maria, that's great. But can I ask you, why not? And I didn't have an answer, right? Because I kept going, this is ridiculous, but I didn't know why. I just knew that this worked, what I was teaching, but not necessarily this other stuff, And then I did a deep dive into it, and I couldn't believe it. I had left literally hundreds of thousands of percent on the table. And we're talking about millions of dollars. And I was really ashamed because I told people not to do it. Think about it, how much money they would, since 2016, how much money they could have made. So that was bad, So I don't feel great about that. But anyway, so then we started teaching people as well how to do it.
When it comes to trading crypto, do you trade just Bitcoin, or do you trade other coins also?
Well, mainly what we do is investing, and the reason we mainly do it, but we do trading as well, but for more advanced people, because I think as soon as you get into trading and leverage and stop losses and things like that, cryptos is just way too volatile for that, way too volatile. So what we basically do is we just use something called value cost averaging, where we just basically buy on the dips. because we know in the long term, we know that it's something that's going to go up. It's got upward pressure.
Yeah.
You know, like if you talk about foreign exchange trading, it doesn't really have upward pressure. It could go down or up. But with Bitcoin, because of the scarcity, because there's only 21 million that will ever be mined, there's real scarcity there, and the supply is going down and down and down, and the demand is going up and up and up. So we know that it's going to go up over time. And even when it has these crazy dips, and I mean crazy dips, where people are running for the hills, that's when we're buying. You need to be really strong. You need to be really strong. And that's why, you can teach people anything, but if you don't teach them about the mindset and psychology behind it, doesn't matter how strong they are, they're going to at some stage they're going to start second guessing the strategy, then they're going to stop. So we teach both how to invest and trade, but also the mindset behind it as well. So important.
Yeah, because I think when you talk about risk management, which becomes essential, and you have the wild swings like you do in crypto or Bitcoin specifically, and I'm invested in 4 different coins now.
Okay.
But I'm a long-term investor. I don't trade it, and most of the conventional people are saying, don't trade it, right? That because of the volatility. Because I guess in risk management, if I'm understanding what you're saying properly, is that you put stop losses in, to say, hey, if it goes down a certain amount, you're out. But it's probably hitting those every single day, so that risk management strategy doesn't work for this level of volatility, right?
It really doesn't. I mean, there are people that can make it work, but because obviously we're teaching people who are just starting out, and to teach them that at this level, no way. Yeah. They're just not ready for it.
So you started to describe something I think that's very important, which is saying that there's Bitcoin in essence is a scarce resource, meaning that there's a limited number that will ever be. And you feel that there's an upward pressure, meaning you feel like more people are going to come into the fray and start to buy it up, create more demand on limited supply, which has to drive the price up. Do you see that it's ever going to take big swings down again, or do you think that there's enough momentum and pressure now that it might dip a little, but it's never going to do one of these 50% dips like it did recently?
Because there are so many of these swings, yes, it will in its cycle. There's a 4-year cycle. In its cycle, it will have maybe a bear market, which isn't really a swing, it's a bear market, right? So it could come down maybe 60, 70, maybe even 80%. But the general little dips that it has, I think that volatility will be less and less. I really do. Okay. And that's because people are, holding or hodling, as everybody calls it, more and more. But also think about this, the institutions are getting in more and more. Now institutions, they know what they're doing, right? So they're not just going to panic and sell immediately. They go, yeah, we've seen this all before. Whereas somebody who's new thinks, oh, I'm going to make some money here by buying Dogecoin or whatever, right? Which is quite speculative. As soon as it goes down, they'll do the classic buy high and sell low. So, and that creates that volatility. But as the institutions get in increasingly, and we're seeing it, that I think will mean that there's going to be less volatility here.
Is it being manipulated, the market? Are there big players or institutions that are driving the price up, kind of attracting a bunch of small fish in to say, oh, I'm going to get involved, and then they're dumping, and so is that happening right now?
Of course, manipulation happens in every market, and just as the whales, which I think if you have over 10,000 Bitcoin or something, you're deemed a whale. They will, all pile in, and then, they'll band together in little groups, and then, they'll move the market, shaking people out, the so-called weak hands, that they go, oh, I just wanted to get in and make a quick buck, and boom, down it goes, and then they sell. So it's being manipulated all the time, but also the institutions, because, look, the institutions are there for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make as much money as possible. So I don't know whether you want me to name any names exactly, but there are some very, very well-known funds that will kind of come out and say, oh, I think Bitcoin is going to go to, 200,000. And then literally 2 days later, because they've just realized, hold on a moment, we don't have enough Bitcoin. We got to drive the price down. So then they'll say, oh, actually, I think it's going to go to 20,000 first. Now, when a well-known institution says that, generally speaking, people do tend to listen. And so you will see, price movements up to minus 20%, and then they'll get in. To me, I don't know whether that's illegal. It should be illegal, but it's definitely unethical and immoral. For me, that's what I think anyway.
I agree with you. So I would love for you to name names, please.
Well, it's very well known, 2017. And after that, Jamie Dimon, everybody knows that the JP Morgan traders, apparently he said, if any of my traders, get caught buying Bitcoin or trading Bitcoin, they'll be instantly fired. It's on public record that the traders were the ones from JP Morgan were buying the most when he made that statement, because when he makes a statement like that, it does drive prices down.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being here and watching that video. And can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel so you can find out when we're posting new content. You'll be alerted right away when we do. To share this with people you think might benefit from the information, and certainly it helps us if you like the video. So if you like what you just saw, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, thank you so much for being here with me right now.